I stopped looking in mirrors 3 months ago, but they still look back. My apartment in Logan Square has 14 mirrors. I counted them after. Bathroom medicine cabinet, full length by the bedroom door. The hallway one I bought at a flea market because it had a nice frame. Decorative ones above the couch. The microwave door. Windows at night when the lights are on. Even my phone screen when it goes dark. 14 ways to see myself. Or what's pretending to be me. I'm a barista at a coffee shop on Milwaukee Avenue. The kind of place where everyone's writing a screenplay or recovering from something they won't name. I pull espresso shots and steam milk and smile at people who don't see me. It's easy to disappear in a city like Chicago, to become background noise, to forget what you look like when no one's watching. That's when it started. When I stopped being sure who was watching back. It was small at first. I'd catch my reflection in the bathroom mirror while brushing my teeth, and for just a second, less than a second, the movement would lag, like watching a video buffer, like my reflection was loading. I'd lift my hand, it would lift its hand, but the timing was wrong, off by a frame, by a breath. I told myself it was exhaustion, too many doubles, too much caffeine, the brain playing tricks when it's running on 4 hours of sleep, and the kind of loneliness that makes you talk to yourself just to hear a voice. But then I noticed the eyes, my eyes, in the reflection. They blinked half a second after I did. Not every time. That's what made it worse. Sometimes the reflection was perfect, synchronized, normal. But sometimes it moved on its own. I started testing it. Stupid, I know. But you have to understand, when you live alone, when the only person you talk to most days is yourself, you start needing proof. Proof you're real. Proof you exist beyond your own skull. So I'd stand in front of the bathroom mirror, watch myself, wait. One night, I smiled. My reflection didn't. It just stared, with my face, with my eyes that weren't blinking when I blinked, with my mouth that stayed flat and expressionless, while mine curved up in this desperate, broken attempt at normalcy. And then, slowly, it smiled too. But it smiled wrong. I covered the mirrors after that. Sheets, towels, duct tape, and newspaper. Every reflective surface I could find. But you can't cover everything. The windows, the screen of my laptop when it goes to sleep, the puddles on the sidewalk after it rains, the chrome fixtures at work, the backs of spoons. Reflections are everywhere once you start looking, or once they start looking for you. I began noticing things, small things. My reflection's hair would be parted on the wrong side. A mole on my cheek would appear on the opposite side in the mirror. My shirt would be buttoned differently, like someone was putting me on backwards, like I was looking at a version of myself from a place where left is right and right is left, and everything is reversed except for the things that shouldn't be. Then came the whispers. I'd be washing dishes, staring at nothing, and I'd hear it, soft, coming from behind me, from the dark window above the sink. My voice, but not my voice. Mírame, look at me. I'm not fluent in Spanish. I grew up in the suburbs. My grandmother spoke it, but she died when I was 10, and the language died with her. I know words, fragments, things that show up in songs or on menus. But I've never said mírame, never thought it. So why was my reflection whispering it?
I started documenting it. Photos, videos, anything to prove I wasn't losing my mind. I'd set up my phone to record myself standing in front of the covered bathroom mirror. Then I'd watch the footage back, frame by frame. In the videos, I looked normal. But in the reflection of my phone screen, visible in the corner of the frame, something else was there, standing behind me, not in the room, in the reflection. It looked like me. Same height, same build, same clothes. But it stood too still, like a photograph, like something pretending it understood how humans move, but couldn't quite get the rhythm right. And it was always watching. Even when I moved, even when I turned my back. In every reflective surface, there it was, standing, staring, waiting. Déjame entrar. Let me in. I researched folklore, psychology, neurology, Capgras syndrome, the delusion that someone's been replaced by an identical imposter, dissociative identity disorder, schizophrenia, mirror hallucinations. But none of it explained the whispers in Spanish. None of it explained why my reflection knew things I didn't. One night, I found a forum. Deep internet, the kind of place you only find when you're searching for things you shouldn't. A thread titled, "When Your Reflection Stops Being Yours." Dozens of posts, people from different countries, different languages, all describing the same thing. The lag, the wrong movements, the whispers. And every single one mentioned the same phrase, el otro lado, the other side. One post from a user who hadn't logged in for 3 years said, "It's not a reflection, it's a doorway. And something on the other side has been watching you your whole life, studying you, learning you, waiting for the moment you're alone enough, empty enough, that you stop believing you're real. That's when it can cross over. That's when it can replace you." The post ended with, "Don't let it speak your name. Once it knows your name, it knows how to wear you."
I stopped sleeping. Couldn't risk it. Because every time I closed my eyes, I'd dream I was on the other side of the mirror. Trapped, watching myself, the thing wearing my face, live my life. Go to work, make coffee, smile at customers who didn't notice the difference. And in the dream, I'd scream, I'd pound on the glass, I'd beg someone to see me. But no one ever looked. I started seeing it everywhere, not just in mirrors, in the faces of strangers on the train, in the way shadows fell across the walls, in the shapes that formed in the static on my TV when I left it on for the noise. My reflection, watching, always watching. I went to see a doctor, told her I was having visual disturbances, didn't mention the whispers, didn't mention the other side. She prescribed antipsychotics. I took them for a week. They didn't stop the reflections. They just made it harder to tell which version of me was real. That's when I realized, what if I'm not the original? What if I'm the one in the mirror? What if I've been on the other side this whole time, and the person I think I am is just the reflection's memory of who I used to be? How would I know? How would you know? Last week, I stopped covering the mirrors. I don't know why. Exhaustion, maybe? Surrender? Or maybe I just needed to see. I stood in my bathroom, 3 a.m., the hour when the city goes quiet, when even the sirens stop screaming. I stood in front of the mirror, and I looked. My reflection looked back. For a long time, nothing happened. Just me, and the space between us that wasn't space at all, but glass, silver, light bending back on itself. Then, hola. It spoke first. Not out loud, not in the room, but I heard it, inside my head, in the place where thoughts form before they become words. ¿Sabes quién eres? Do you know who you are? I opened my mouth to answer, but I didn't. Couldn't remember. My name felt like a word I'd heard once, but never learned to pronounce. My reflection smiled. That wrong smile. The one that showed too many teeth. Yo, see, I do. I know who you are. I've always known, because I've been you longer than you have. Every time you looked away, every time you forgot yourself, I was there, learning, becoming, wearing your face so well that even you couldn't tell the difference. You think you're on the right side of the mirror, but there is no right side. There's only the side that remembers, and the side that forgets. And you are forgetting. I don't remember what happened next. Not clearly. I remember reaching toward the mirror. I remember my reflection reaching back. I remember our fingers touching the glass. And the glass wasn't cold. It was warm, like skin. And then I was. Where? I don't know how to describe it. Imagine being in two places at once. Imagine watching yourself from behind your own eyes. Imagine hearing your thoughts in someone else's voice. This is what it's always been. You and me and the space between. The you that exists and the you that watches yourself exist. The performance and the audience. The mirror and the face. We were never separate. You just forgot we were the same. I pulled back, or I think I did. I was standing in my bathroom, the mirror in front of me, but I couldn't tell. Couldn't tell if I'd moved forward or backward, if I was looking at my reflection or if my reflection was looking at me, if I was the one in the bathroom or the one trapped in the glass. I went to work the next day, pulled espresso shots, steamed milk, smiled at customers. But I felt different, like I was watching myself performing being human. Like I'd forgotten the script, but my body remembered the movements. A regular came in, Sarah. She always orders a cappuccino with oat milk. She looked at me and smiled. "You okay? You seem different today." I opened my mouth to say I was fine, but what came out was, "Diferente como? Different how?" She laughed, uncomfortable. "Since when do you speak Spanish?" Since when? Since when do I speak Spanish? I don't speak Spanish. I never have. But the words keep coming. In my thoughts, in my dreams, in the space between one breath and the next. Porque no soy quien crees que soy. Because I'm not who you think I am. I went home, locked the door, stood in front of the bathroom mirror, the mirror I'd uncovered, the mirror that shows me myself, or what's pretending to be me. I stared for an hour, waiting for the lag, for the wrong movement, for proof. But my reflection moved perfectly, synchronized, like it had always been me, like I had always been it. And then I noticed my reflection. It had a scar above its left eyebrow, small, thin, from when I was 7 and fell off my bike. But when I touched my own face, the scar was on the right side. I don't know which side of the mirror I'm on anymore. I don't know if I ever did. Maybe there is no right side. Maybe there's just versions of ourselves we've forgotten. Selves that live in the spaces we don't look at, in the reflections we ignore, in the moments between seeing and being seen. In a whispered voice, mine certain. El otro lado no es un lugar, es un estado. Es lo que pasa cuando dejas de creer que eres real. The other side isn't a place, it's a state. It's what happens when you stop believing you're real. I tested it yesterday. I asked my coworker, Marcus, the one who's been working there longer than anyone, if I seemed different lately. He looked at me weird. I just met you last week, he said. You're the new hire. But I've worked there for 2 years. 2 years of doubles and opening shifts and burned espresso and customers who don't tip. 2 years. Unless I haven't. Unless the me who worked there for 2 years is on the other side now, and I'm the replacement, the reflection that learned to walk and talk and smile and exist in the space where someone used to be. If you're listening to this, if you've made it this far, check your reflection tonight. Really look. Not a glance, not a quick check before you leave the house. Look. Watch how it moves. Count the seconds between your blink and its blink. Notice if the scar is on the right side or the left. Notice if your reflection's lips move when you speak, or if they move just before. Because maybe you're fine. Maybe you're real. Maybe you're on the right side of the glass. But if you're not, if you wake up one day and can't remember your name in English, but you can say it perfectly in a language you never learned, if the people around you start treating you like a stranger, if your reflection starts whispering in a voice that sounds like yours but isn't, don't fight it. You've already crossed over. You just don't remember yet. Whispered, final, certain. Todos estamos del otro lado. Solo algunos de nosotros lo sabemos. We're all on the other side. Some of us just know it.